You might recognize this guy. He's been very vocal and critical of some of my videos and my stances on animal care, but one of his videos just got taken down for animal abuse. Liam Sinclair is a reptile YouTuber from the UK. He runs the channel Reptiles and Research, and he's part of the Animals at Home network. You've seen him on a bunch of podcasts, you've seen his videos, you've seen him be critical of other channels. And YouTube just accused him of animal abuse. Not accused him, but basically prosecuted him for animal abuse too, because they took one of his videos down. So before we go any further, let's take a deep dive into this video and see what's really wrong with it. Is this animal abuse?
How to dust your feeder insects with calcium in 20 seconds. Pour some calcium over your insects in a cup. Just a little bit, like you're icing a cake. It doesn't need to be a huge amount. Then give them a good swirl. Make sure the feeder insects are evenly covered and it sticks to their bodies. And that's how you dust feeder insects.
As you can see, quite malicious. How dare he take those innocent insects that are about to be fed to a large predator, put them into a deli cup, swirl them around with a harmless powder that is going to enrich the predator with calcium. Now listen, animal abuse is a word that gets thrown around way too easily. It can ruin people's careers and their lives, and we just throw it around willy-nilly like it means nothing. So let's figure this out. What is animal abuse anyway? Actually, more importantly, before we even get there, what was said by YouTube to Liam and his channel? His video was taken down. He was given a warning, which can ruin your channel, by the way, if you get enough of them, because they turn into strikes. I've had a strike. Remember last year when I used 13 seconds of someone else's video and gave them credit for it, and then he got all butthurt about it because he can't get any traction on the internet by himself? Anyway, you get 3 of those. They take down your channel and any channels affiliated with you, so any of your other channels too. So I wrote it down to make sure I got it right. Violent or graphic content. Content that shows humans maliciously inflicting physical or psychological harm on animals. Now, I agree that cockroaches are animals, because some people in the comments said, oh, they're not. They are. Cockroaches deserve respect. But at the end of the day, those cockroaches are being fed to a predator. They're being fed to I don't know what he was feeding, a bearded dragon, whatever. And he didn't even show the animal eating the other animals. Keep in mind, there are videos like this one up on the internet with millions of views over the course of the channel. So if you put 2 animals who are innocent and don't want to be there into a cube to fight each other to the death, that's okay. But if you put powder on a roach, animal abuse. Back to my original point. Calling someone an animal abuser is harmful and dangerous. And keep in mind, I cleared the title of this video with Liam first. So it's not like I'm trying to, clickbait and ruin his reputation. I talked to him about this first. YouTube didn't use the word abuse, they used the word harm. So harm, the definition is physically injured. Obviously in the video, that didn't actually happen. I wouldn't call this psychological harm either. Now, obviously comparing apples to oranges, comparing to fight channels and things like that, which last week we literally condemned and hopefully those channels are gone. Those are 2 different things. But even there's tons and tons of videos of people shaking crickets, like literally taking crickets into a bag, dousing them with calcium powder and shaking them. I'm not going to show it here because if they took his video down, they'll take this video down for the same reason. So is Liam Sinclair an animal abuser? Is he doing harm to animals? Well, I would argue that Liam does the exact opposite. I don't agree with everything Liam does or says or all the information on his channel, but no one would agree with everything everybody says, right? So that doesn't mean anything. I would agree, though, that Liam probably does more for animal welfare than basically anybody in the hobby. Sometimes I think maybe he goes above and beyond and a little overboard, but all of this is for the good of the animal. UVB needs to be on basically every animal. I don't know if he made that exact claim, but like along those lines. Realistically, is he doing this for the harm? Is he affiliated with a UVB company? He's big UVB trying to make money? No, he just cares about the animals. Every animal needs enrichment. He doesn't like racks, things like that. Are these things to demonize other people? Are they things to make him money? No. These are things that he's saying and doing to create a better environment for these animals and give them better welfare, to give them a better life. That is what he's trying to do. So, is he an animal abuser? No. Obviously not. So what are we gonna do about it? Well, we're not gonna stay quiet, because here's the thing. I get comments all the time, mostly from Canadians, by the way, which we'll talk about in a second, about, oh, Adam, don't talk about this issue because if YouTube didn't know about it until now, if you talk about it, it'll raise red flags, blah. No, stop. Calm down. Get out of your bubble. We can't nerf the world. We have to address these things head on. You can't hide from issues like this. I love Canadians. I am one, but sometimes we're a cowardly bunch when it comes to confronting authority. So what are we gonna do? Stop making videos like this? There are channels who make their entire livelihood off of making videos about feeding reptiles. I'm not gonna name names because if YouTube watches this, I don't want them to go after those specific people, but there's so many of them. And some of my friends make tons of videos like this. They get tons of views, and this is how they pay their mortgage. So what are we gonna do? Not feed crickets? This is ridiculous. On my other channel, I literally show human bones and skulls it's a cemetery. It's not like a weird, crazy, creepy thing. There's a cemetery in Indonesia. Dave Kaufman and I went a couple years ago.
I think you're gonna go bald because you picked up the money.
No.
It's already happened. No!
And they basically let their dead kind of decompose naturally in plain sight, and they don't bury them. Anyway, there is no strike on that. There is no warning. It's not cruel to show this. I'm showing literal human bones. There's videos like we talked about where you take a 1 foot square cube, you put a bunch of animals in there, and then they fight each other. And those channels are allowed to stay up forever until they're literally a human tries to take them down. And something about Liam's video, it wasn't a human, it was the algorithm that flagged it. So it wasn't like someone who was butthurt about his channel just flagged it and tried to hurt his, which don't ever do, by the way. Don't ever copyright strike someone. It can ruin their whole career. Just talk to them. Like, don't be the cowardly lion. Please. So here's what we can do, because Liam did attempt to get a human to review it. He tried to get the algorithm to review it. They automatically just denied him. And I've done this before where on my other channel, especially because we talk about things like, I can't say the words here because they get flagged. We talk about conspiracies, and then that thing that happened 2 weeks ago to the guy who's running against the guy who's a president right now, you know, stuff like that. And sometimes I have to appeal the warding or monetary restriction, and I almost always win. But also, it's usually a human who overturns this. So Liam got a human to look at it by adding them on X, formerly Twitter. They looked into it and they still said, nah, you did something bad. We're taking your video down and leaving it down. I don't make these strong call to actions to tell you what to do, but if you wanted to, if you felt compelled to, go on X and at YouTube, at these people, and say, hey, this video, I really enjoyed it, helped me, blah, 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 whatever. Kind of make a case. And this isn't like I'm friends with Liam, so therefore I'm trying to defend him. I am friends with Liam. I like him. I respect him. He does great things in the community, but this is just a precedent for bad things to happen. Do you never want to see a feeding video ever again? Do you want some of your favorite creators just to no longer be able to have videos out because they did one thing that was wrong? And how about the fact that it's okay for those people, but not okay for one other person? I mean, shouldn't there be common guidelines that would state what to do? Not just, oh, I feel like I don't want to see this video today, so therefore I'm not going to approve it on YouTube's end. And keep in mind, I love YouTube. I make my living on YouTube. YouTube, you're awesome. But everybody makes mistakes, and this clearly is one. On the other hand, don't throw around the word animal abuse. This is just an aside, but if someone does something you don't like, I don't know, keep a communal species of reptile that is always kept in communities, never ever found alone in the history of everdom in the wild, in a bigger enclosure than they would have in the wild. Don't call that person an animal abuser. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to everybody else. You're trying to get clicks by using someone's name who's bigger than you. Now, of course, there are animal abusers, right? Like if you let snakes rot in a tub, then okay, you can call it animal abuse. That's what it is. If you see FWC literally putting nails into the heads of reticulated pythons and then by accident a boa constrictor that was pregnant, yeah, that's also animal abuse. There's like not a fine line here. Like it's pretty clear cut. There is very little gray area. So if there is something that is clearly animal abuse, making things fight until the death with no, like they're not feeding each other, they're just literally gonna kill each other, and the one that lives is probably gonna be maimed and then die the next day, okay, flag that. That's fine. But if you see someone twirling around insects in a cup full of calcium, maybe don't do that, and maybe let's all come to that person's defense. Again, not because you're his friend, even if you disagree with him, even if you don't like him, this is a good opportunity for all of us to come together in unity, because that's what we need in this community, because if we don't have a community, how are we supposed to fight against all those ding-dongs who are trying to outlaw the entire hobby? Anyway, however I title this, my friend's an animal abuser, or is it animal abuse, whatever? No, Liam isn't an animal abuser. Liam's a good guy. Please go subscribe to his channel if you like videos like that, or don't. I mean, most of you who watch these videos aren't subscribed either. Subscribe to this one. Really appreciate it. Because like we are giving stuff away for free at the end of the week. On August 2nd, we're doing a draw. If you subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and leave a comment prize pack with a random 3-digit number, we just enter you into a draw and you win like a giant prize pack worth like $1,000. Or just join Patreon and it's like a chance of 1 in 350 or 360 or something, and you get a chance to win the prize pack too. Plus, if you're on Patreon, you get like discounts on merch, videos early, we do one-on-one conversations, I love those, all that and more for as little as $1 a month, or hit subscribe for free. That's it. I do videos Mondays and Thursdays. See you in the next one.